Welcome to a new episode about password hashing. In the last episode, we created prepared statements and created a query check to insert data in a database. And of course, we don't want to enter the password of a user inside the database without hashing it. Whatever the user has put inside the input field will be visible in the database. And once again, if a hacker gets access to your database, he can get right to the usernames and passwords. And when you're dealing with a website that has credit card information or whatever sensitive information attached to it, that person will be in a lot of trouble. And the way you prevent this is by hashing passwords. And what you will basically do with hashing passwords is creating a new encrypted password of 60 characters using a strong one-way hashing algorithm. So whenever a user tries to log in, we're taking the hashed password and we're going to rehash it to the original password. Then we will perform a check if it matches, and if it does, we're going to grant access to the user. So in our bind param in our else statement, we do not want to pass in password right now. We want to remove it, and before we bind it, so one line above, we're going to hash the password. So let's create a new variable called hashed pass and set it equal to password underscore hash parentheses. And inside the parentheses, we need to pass in two params. The first one is the original password, so that's variable password, comma. And the second param is the way you want to hash the password. And in our case, we're going to use bcrypt. And the reason why I prefer bcrypt and the reason why I actually prefer bcrypt is that it will always be updated. And whenever there is a security breach, they will be updating it and solving the problem. A common hashing method on the internet is MD5 or MD7, but I'm strongly against using it because it's outdated and not safe anymore. And the method we want to use, so after the comma, is in capitals, password, underscore, default. What we need to do now is go right after username, write a comma, and we want to pass in the hashed pass. We actually do not need the store result statement in our else statement because that's only if you want to fetch information from the database. And right now, we want to insert data in the database. So let's remove it. So what will happen right now is that the user will be inserted in the database. But we actually want to send the user back to the sign up page with a success message. So let's copy the header and exit. Let's paste it. And let's change error to success. And the value is registered. Before we're going to test this, I want to do one more thing. And that's to close the statement. And we need to close the database connection. It's not necessary to do this because MySQL will automatically do this. We want to save some resources and do it ourselves. So I already looked this up. Let's go to the second to last curly bracket. Let's hit enter. And we need to return a MySQL underscore stmt underscore close. And this takes one param, and that's the MySQL statement that we created. And in our case, that's variable stmt. And what we're basically doing right now is, well, we're closing off the statement. We also need to close the connection. And on the line below, we need to create a MySQL underscore close. And we want to pass in variable con. So let's save it. Let's go back to the browser. Refresh the browser. Let's enter a username. So let's say Dari100. My password is 12345. And the confirm password is 12345. So let's click on register. And you can see that success is equal to registered. So what we need to do now is to go to our PHP MyAdmin. Let's refresh table users. And you can see that Dari100 with ID number 15 and the hashed password is registered in our database. Thank you for watching this episode, and in the next episode, we're going to create our login script.